and the shifting balance of West Africa. West Africa is witnessing a historic geopolitical shift. A new alliance is emerging, bold, defiant, and determined to rewrite the region's security and sovereignty narrative. The Alliance of Sahel States, widely known as AES, comprising Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, is no longer speaking in whispers. It is now speaking through action, through military coordination, and through a shared ideological stance. African self-determination. Tonight, we examine whether AES has become, by demonstration and battlefield reality, the most assertive military force in West Africa, and what that means for the continent's future. The Alliance of Sahel States was born out of crisis, but also out of resistance. For years, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger faced escalating insurgencies from extremist groups linked to ISIS and Al-Qaeda. These nations depended heavily on Western military assistance, particularly from France, under counterterrorism missions like Operation Barkhane. But the results, in the eyes of many citizens, were disappointing. Terrorist violence spread, territories fell, civilian casualties rose, and public trust in foreign military presence began to collapse. One by one, military governments emerged through coups, not merely as power grabs, but as political statements rejecting external control and demanding security sovereignty. From that rejection came unity. AES was formed as a mutual defense pact. An attack on one member state would be considered an attack on all. This was not just a military agreement, it was a declaration of ideological independence. Unlike many regional defense agreements that remain symbolic, AES has moved rapidly into operational reality. Joint military patrols have intensified across shared borders. Intelligence sharing has increased. Military hardware procurement strategies have shifted toward diversification, particularly toward partnerships with Russia and other non-Western actors. Supporters argue that AES forces have demonstrated greater battlefield responsiveness compared to previous multinational deployments. Recent claims from Niger's leadership highlight this new posture of assertiveness. Niger's military leader, General Abdourahmane Chiani, has accused France of supporting an armed assault on a strategic military airbase near Niamey's International Airport. According to Nigerian authorities, the attack targeted one of the country's most sensitive military installations, a base that reportedly houses both operational military assets and uranium stockpiles critical to Niger's strategic resources. Niger's armed forces reported eliminating 20 attackers and arresting 11 suspects during the confrontation. General Chiani publicly credited Russian military personnel stationed at the base for assisting in repelling the assault, a statement that underscores the shifting security alliances in the Sahel. These allegations, whether fully verified or not, reflect a broader narrative shaping public sentiment across the region. The belief that foreign powers have historically influenced African security landscapes for resource and geopolitical interests. The tension between Niger and France cannot be understood without examining uranium, the lifeblood of France's nuclear energy infrastructure. For decades, Niger supplied significant quantities of uranium that powered French nuclear plants. Meanwhile, paradoxically, large portions of Niger's population continued to struggle with access to reliable electricity. In December, Niger's government announced it would halt uranium sales to France, a decision viewed by AES supporters as a bold step toward economic sovereignty. To critics, however, the decision carries economic risks and potential diplomatic isolation. But within Pan-African discourse, the move is framed as something larger, reclaiming African resources for African development. In neighboring Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traoré has emerged as one of the most charismatic and controversial military leaders in modern African politics. Supporters portray him as a leader deeply connected to ordinary citizens, a young officer embodying revolutionary